right, well, thank you for joining us today. You all snowshoed in, right? To get comfortable. All right, this is Luke Bergseth, the Artistic Lumberjack, and I'm really excited to have him here today just because you do art in a different way.
Yes, it's wood can be boring, but it can also be extremely fun and entertaining.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yes, I started off just doing normal construction-based stuff, and then a couple of years ago, actually a personal training client reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should get into the crazy wood world." I'm like, "Okay, fine. What's that?" He says, he showed me some of this exactly, like Purple Heart, Padukes. He got into Intarsia, and he showed me that, and I was like, "Well, that's not necessarily for me." I started playing around with some stuff, and this is one of the boxes that I just finished. It didn't actually start this way. It just started as 4 walls. This board right here is all one board. It's called waterfall all the way around. So you don't do four separate boards. You actually cut it so the joint goes all the way around. So it's actually more pure in a way because it's not 4 boards. It's 1 board. So you miter it and everything else. And then you take the same wood and you make the top for it. And I actually power carved this handle. So that's where the part where the artistic part comes in. You can play with your wood. You can come up with an idea. I use Pinterest a lot for my stuff, and I get a lot of grief for that. But it's really, really good for artistic vibes. But so yes, and then that just kind of came to be.
So tell us a little bit more about when you were starting. Did you have all the tools? How did you figure out what to do?
You start off with the basics, and you start playing with things, and you start cutting, and you realizing you need precision. So along the way, as you do a job, you're like, "Hey, I want this next tool. It's quite expensive." And I bet you, I started in 2017, and right now I'm finally getting to the tools that I want. So it's taken about 10 years, but the precision tools, like for instance, Festo brand. Extremely precise, but you have to have that with, say, these miters right here and these miter pieces. You just have to have it because if you don't, you will see that inaccuracy when you get to the fine woodworking pieces. So.
Okay, and then where do you source your wood from?
I actually get all my stuff from Valley Hardwood in Fargo, or like that piece right there, that piece of decor based off of Pinterest, actually locally. Cut a piece off, I let it season for 3 years. That's how long it takes to actually have wood seasoned to go from raw green wood. It sits about 30%. You want to get down to 8 to 12% so that it won't rot and it won't move on you. And then once it gets down to that point, you take all the rot off, whatever's left, sand it down, and then you're actually able to work with it at that point. So it's a long process. Like most woods people get, like exotics and hardwoods, are already kiln dried, no bugs. It won't move anymore because wood moves. Like even the wood in here will seasonally move up to about 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch from summer till now is the driest time of the year. All wood moves. You don't think it does, but it does. Even exotics move. That will move. All this stuff moves. So, I lost my train of thought there. I went on a rant, but okay.
So for those of us who don't work in woodworking, is seasoning just letting it sit inside? Or
seasoning, yes, you can actually let it. A lot of times, guys will stick it. They'll slab them, they'll sticker them. That 1 inch helps air move because you need constant air move because you can have one top of your board be dry, the underneath can be completely wet, and that'll actually make a cup. And once it's cups, it could take you years to get that cup out if you ever do get it out. I was actually going to bring a piece of exotic Paduke that actually, when I got it from the dealer and I had a person want a piece, I cut it. Within 24 hours, it did a 1/2 inch cup on me and was deemed worthless. A $30 board was worthless. So you need so seasoning is extremely important. You really can't use it unless you do that. However, when most people think of wood around here, they think of homes. Well, a lot of times our homes, the frames are a little bit dense and have moisture in them, but for the most part, they're seasoned as well. So most of your woods at these big box stores are seasoned to a point. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
No.
So when you're planning something then, because you work on commissions, correct?
Yeah,
For a lot of things?
95% of my business is commission.
Yeah, so how does that work when you need a 3-year season with your customer?
Something like that, you try to find someone who's got a seasoned piece, or you tell them, hey, you want this bad enough, you're gonna have to wait. Yeah, like I was telling this gentleman right here, I actually have a piece in my shop right now for a business in this in the mall here. It's going to be a tree trunk with shelves, and they got AI. They said, "Hey, is this possible?" I looked at it. I thought, okay, an organic trunk out in the woods. Yes, that's going to take like a year because you're going to have to find it, make sure it's not too rotten, man, make sure it's too wet. Let it dry out its natural way. When wood dries out, naturally it will crack, it will move. You're gonna see what's usable, what's not usable, and then you're gonna work with it. Or you can get Douglas fir type of thing, glue it all up, wait for that to happen, much faster process, and then powder carve it. Well, that makes an absolute mess. Mm-hmm. So if you have a big shop, great, you have room for it. If you don't, it takes time. So I've actually been working on this project since probably September, and I am just now 60% done. So it's a long time. So when people like, hey, the prices are so high, there's a reason. There's a ton of labor, and a lot of time, most of the time, us artists probably only get paid for honestly half the labor, but it's the challenge of doing it. It's the love of doing it. So it's fun.
So when your friend suggested you got into this,
Yep.
and you're like, okay, I'll try it. Was there like a moment where you're like, this is it? Like, this is my thing. I'm gonna go all in.
When I started selling pieces, and I realized, God, this is fun. If I could actually do this, if I could actually sell a couple pieces a month like this forever, we don't have to do 9 to 5, more like 12, 14-hour days. But hey, who cares? It's doing what you enjoy, yeah. Because once that stain hits and that poly hits, it's everything. All the time is just, it's like, okay, that was worth it. So for me at least.
So take us a little bit through your artistic process when you are trying to select the wood. Like, what are you looking for? What draws your eye? And you're like, that's the piece that I should use.
Ooh, I should show you this. Okay.
Yeah.
This, for instance, is a piece of curly maple. You guys can come up and take a look. Curly maple is it's actually maple, like hard maple, soft maple. But the curl in this, when you apply a stain, it makes the curl pop. And then when you apply your polys to it, it makes it pop even more and it seals it up. This is some of your most high-end furniture you'll ever see out there. Most of it's veneer, and I'll explain that a little bit. When you rip this...
Here, come right over here, just
Sorry.
so then the
Sorry.
people that visit
A very
online.
active YouTube channel.
Oh, I like it. So when you veneer this, most high-end furniture is veneers. So what a veneer is imagine taking this on a table saw, and the piece that comes off of here is a 16th, a 32nd, a 64th of an inch, 125 thousandths of an inch. So like the thinness of a sheet of paper. That's what most big box type of stuff furniture is. It's not actually dense wood like this, because dense wood like this will move. Like I said before, dense wood will move. So when you get high-end furniture, it's like this. It's a version of this is just veneered down. So, but I happen to really like the full piece of furniture and make pens, pencils, or anything you want, frankly.
Okay, here, I can pass it around.
Absolutely.
I don't know how far this cord will go.
In addition to that, I have a piece of Paducah over here. I've got a couple projects that I've made. People are like, okay, what's that? Well, I actually want to show the raw form of it. Plus, there's purple heart over there. And then I have a piece of spalted tamarind. It's exactly this piece, but in the raw form. So people are like, oh, I've seen it in the raw form, or the finished form only. People have seen it in the raw form. And then that table right there is actually called Black Limba. It's one of the more affordable exotic woods out there. And the grain is, when you back to your question, what grabs me, it's the grain. Every single piece of wood is different. You can have a species, and one piece is very cool, the next piece is kind of boring, and the next piece is out of this world. And that's where the price comes in, because some of the pieces that have just unbelievable grain to them, man, they're expensive, but they're gorgeous when they're finished.
So when you're not doing commissions, what is your favorite type of thing to create?
Something that seems impossible.
Tell me more.
I've seen a couple guys do round bathtubs. I wanted to do that, but right now I've been collecting for a couple years because it's quite expensive, curly maple in the 1-inch slabs, and I've got about 10 boards worth to glue them together to make a rocking chair.
Nice.
An actual rocking chair, because I've seen them on Pinterest. Curly maple and like a walnut rocking chair. Oh God, it's like the epitome of woodworking. It probably would take, at my rate, like 2 to 3 years to make it, but I'm gonna make it someday. So.
All right, we're gonna open it up to questions, and I'm gonna switch with you.
Sure.
It's mobile. All right, who has questions? Anyone? Any questions? Sure.
Luke, I've seen your work in the Homes Art Show, and it's just extraordinary. Tell about some of the other pieces that you typically have that people can purchase or
Sure.
commission.
Well, a lot of times lately it's the tables, and typically when you make tables, you don't want it takes a while to make the legs and the actual carcass of the table. So here comes the hairpin leg tables. They're a little bit lighter, they're a little bit easier to move around, they're a little bit quicker to make, so they're a little bit more affordable. Along with that, that piece of that walnut decor. I also have cutting boards. I've made a few custom cutting boards over the years. The reason why people like custom cutting boards is because you can obviously not. I mean, custom is obviously awesome, but if a person wants a certain kind of wood or woods, they can say, "Hey, I want this." Price point is up to that, can be up or lower, so anything's possible. Coasters. I've worked with modern coffee tables. I'm trying to think of all this stuff. I've pretty much done everything that I can try so far. So it's there's not one thing that I really haven't done yet. I've made a few of these. Shipped off one off to London for my brother for his wedding present. So yes, but yeah.
When people are asking you for commissions, what's a question that typically comes up, or is something that people don't typically think about when they're asking for a commission?
How detail oriented I am. People are like, "Oh, I just want this done." I'm like, "Okay, you got like 15 questions coming your way. Brace yourself." How thick do you want it? What's the price point? How long do you want to wait? From the router bit, the breaking the edge to. There's so many questions, but the problem is people don't understand. To get what they want, there's a dozen things that they have to decide on, because you can go so many different ways, and that kind of goes with the precision part of it. It takes forever, but if people want something gorgeous, there's so much time and precision goes into that, so they have to be patient. So most projects take 6 months minimum. A quick project is like 3 or 4 months for me, but it's like 6 months. But if their mouth's not dropping, I'm not satisfied. So.
Do you have to retool or make order special like chisels or so on? Like go to a like a CNC company to have them make something special to make something easier to do?
No, but I buy a lot of tools. Because almost every single project I've had to buy a new tool, new bit. Just the more specialized, I think you're asking, there's a lot of specialized projects take specialized tools. My tax lady thinks I'm crazy. It's been like every year. It's been like, how much did you spend? I'm like, sorry, I had to have that tool for that project. No way around it. So, the niche of the woodworking business and high-end furniture like this, it's expensive. But for me, it's what I'm investing my future in. So this is what I plan on doing forever. So.
I know you mentioned where you buy the wood from,
Yep.
but I'm curious of where these exotic woods grow. As far as like that curly maple,
Good
the
question.
wood that's on the box.
I believe curly maple has actually grown. Last time I watched a YouTube video, I watch a lot of YouTube, is on the steep banks out in Seattle where it's very, very, the rainforests are, where you almost cannot get to it. It's where they legally log them. Now, most of these places it's actually done legally. But I believe that's in the Seattle area. And then West Africa, the Mediterranean, South America where it's warm, the equator area is where you get a lot of these woods with unbelievable grain and color to them. You just can't find that in the northern hemisphere area really. So it's mostly where it's barren. So, and most of Curly Babinga, stuff like that, which I have a couple of pieces of that. It's pretty rare. But yeah, when these pieces get shipped from all over the world, obviously, people like myself, we know about it, and I'm trying to explore, tell the masses that this stuff actually exists, because people are like, oh, what do you got? We were working on. I tell them a speech, they're like, huh? Come over and see it. And they don't. So I'm like, well, it's time for people to see what's actually out there. So, yeah, good question.
I think Amy's right. I think you should have a YouTube channel and teach people.
I've been debating
all
this for
stuff.
2 years, but I've been deathly scared about getting behind
So
the camera.
now is your chance to pull the trigger, and there's this little competition called Pitch 412.
Well, I've almost thought about doing that or school, because everything that I've learned has been self-taught. I have literally spent almost every single weekend in the shop, doing this. So it's been a labor of love, but it's been an idea in the back of my mind. So thank you.
Nice. So what else can we do as a community to support you?
Order. Hit me on my website. If there's something you want or something you know somebody else wants, and instead of going to a big box dealer or whatever, buying like IKEA or buying Menards, good shop local. It's gonna be much, much better. And if it breaks on you or something happens, I will fix it. But it's not going to.
It's worth the wait.
Absolutely. Everything's handcrafted by me. My wife might help me finish off a little bit, but with 2 kids now, it's just me. So.
And speaking of, to wrap things up, we need to congratulate Luke because he and his wife just welcomed a new child into the world. So.
Yes, 8 days old. So, thank you.
All right. Well, where can we follow your stuff or see?
I have most of my current stuff on Facebook on my Artistic Lumberjack page or theartisticlumberjack.com. That's actually where I instruct most people to go to contact me, because then I get the email and then I can reach out. And it leaves a kind of a document trail where life gets busy, people can forget a lot of times, and it's just easier to watch that page. So, or call me. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So I'm excited. I finally got these 2 up here. I have been actively trying for 3 years.
Yep.
This is a big win. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Bucks Mill and kind of where'd you get the idea and how did it start?
Sure, I can start with that. So this is a hobby gone run amok. We started, it starts with liking beer, which I know quite a few people do. And then it was, let's make our own beer. And did that a good number of years ago, like during college time. And then it just came back there about 6-7 years ago. Oh, I got 6-7 in even. There was a group of us that was homebrewing, and we kept saying, we need a brewery in town, and people were asking us and trying our beer, and we need a real brewery in town. So we said, well, if we don't do it, someone else is going to. And that, one thing led to another, and here we are. After 3.5 years, we've learned a lot and continue to keep brewing beer. And we have this guy here who does great work, and that's where it starts with, is the beer.
So what does it take to start a brewery?
Maybe a little detachment from reality first. And then, a good team of people with a dedicated interest and a vision. A lot of community support. It starts with finding a brewer. Well, it didn't start there, but we were fortunate to to find Tyler here, and so it starts with the beer, and then this downtown location is great, and our the folks at Design to Sell did a wonderful job outfitting this place, and we mostly listened to them because this would look a lot more like my garage if it had been up to our own team. So that's where it starts, and we've learned every day that we're here how to keep improving the place.
So, Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be the head brewer of a new brewery?
Well, obviously, I do love my job. It's in a brewery this size. It's head brewer is maybe a glorified term. I mean, I'm also janitor, cleaner, distributor. So day-to-day operations are mostly cleaning tanks or purging tanks or cleaning floors, but there's a lot of fun mixed in there too.
And what does it look like to create the beers? Like, what is that process of, like, all from coming up with the idea to production?
Sure. A big one is, we're trying to make fresh beer that our patrons are gonna enjoy, and it's gonna move, and sometimes, best laid plans that works out or it doesn't, but it starts with, we have an idea, we think this is gonna be great, we source our materials, a big one being yeast. We think about costs. Are we gonna keep that yeast around? Are we gonna propagate it? Are we gonna, repitch it and have multiple beers with it? Or is it gonna be maybe on the costly end where this is a one-time thing? Then from there, we're lucky enough to have Maltworks right here in town. So we get all our grain from right here. And really, creating a new beer is the most fun part. It's there's an obsession that goes into it leading up to, aiming at this is exactly what I want, making sure I don't change it 200 times before brew day, and seeing the first person enjoy that pint.
So where do you get the inspiration when you're trying to think of the beers? Like, I have this image in my head of, like, parties in Henry's garage with his old school brewing kit. What does that look like?
Well, we have a team of people, our ownership group and our staff, and they're the source of many of our ideas. And customers also. What did you have at some brewery or some other tap room that really, really was good and you'd like to see us make here? And we do that ourselves, research and development, when we're out and about. That's also where it starts, is we're always looking for creative ideas, and we pay attention to what customers here want, and if we made the beer that Tyler and I like best, we wouldn't sell enough beer to keep the doors open. So we listen to customers, and we have. One thing we did when we started was we put 20 taps in, which is more than most breweries have, but it seemed to make sense for us at the time. And, that gives us an opportunity to do some testing and varieties that, that other places with, say, 10 handles can't always do. It also creates we try and keep them filled, which is also a challenge at times. But it works well for us, our approach, and we don't, and I know he's a creative guy, it's the art and science of brewing, it really is. And it's how do we keep that creativity going, because we get customers that are either in the, oh shoot, this is out, why is that gone? And then the next customer comes up and says, what's new? So it's trying to balance that also with customers, of keeping things familiar with things that are new.
Now, one of the things I love about this place is you guys are willing to jump in and try almost anything new. Like either one of Amy's crazy ideas or just all sorts of different events. You're always experimenting. Do you think that's something that your group just naturally does, or is that a focus you have?
Yeah, I think breweries generally are community gathering places. And given this is right downtown, and given the size of it and the unique spaces within the building that we have created, you know, we have always said we want to be a community space. So that's inviting community ideas and community events here. Last night we had a charitable pint night for the United Way. You know, last weekend we had the curling team, or the curling club came in and had 2 watch parties here. On Saturday, we also had axe throwing. On Sunday, we had a pinball tournament, a cribbage tournament, and a beanbag tournament. So, I mean, those 3 groups don't usually meet in the same place, but here they are because we've created this community opportunity.
So tell me about one of your cool ideas that you've tried that went differently than what you expected.
You got any one of those?
And maybe just our having crawler cans day one. They were like, you know, the biggest novelty, and I think people enjoyed them more so in the tap room than our 4-pack of 16-ounce cans.
What's a crawler can?
They're the big 750 milliliter cans. People, I think they think of the iconic big Foster's can. Yeah. But out in the distribution world, if we're trying to, you know, we're a distributing brewery, sell the liquor stores, and it kind of loses its novelty on the shelf, and people don't look at them, and we really had to pivot, and luckily Henry found a canning line on eastern Wisconsin, and we loaded up a trailer one day and had a very anxiety-ridden trip with a expensive canning line behind us in a storm. Yeah, pretty windy, and but we made it, and we got it downstairs, and we're at a different path now that seems to be working out.
And I just say a little bit different answer on that question, but what I think we've learned the most is don't try something once, say, oh, it didn't work. If it's a good idea, the things take time to stick. That's been a big lesson learned here. You know, we keep trivia going every Wednesday because it's a thing. You know, it takes a while for those things to stick. Same thing like cribbage night. We have that on Mondays. And, you know, 2 years ago, we would sometimes have 2 people here, or we bottom out at 4 people on a Monday night, which is still good. You know, 2 weeks ago we had 18, and you know, like now, it just amazes me how it takes time to sort of get things to, I guess for lack of a better term, stick in people's head of like, oh, what could we do on Monday? Oh, this is going on, so we got to stay with it and be persistent, and you know, adapt as needed to modify events. You know, lately I saw you're going to have Young at Art in here. They've been doing painting events here, which has been working out really well.
Yeah. And they said they're swamped on their pottery days.
Yeah.
Yep. So can you tell me, just forgot my question there, sorry.
It's okay, you can edit this.
Right, I can take this part out. Can you tell me a little bit about, so like say someone else is wanting to try a new idea and they're on the fence and they're a little bit nervous and they're not sure if they want to jump in. What advice do you have for them?
Good question. Make sure you do your homework and really, really think it through. Talk to folks that have done this in other areas. And then, you know, make sure you've got a good banker and a good leadership group to help you out and provide support. That's kind of the key things from my perspective.
All right, we're going to open it up to questions.
Sure.
All right, who has a question?
Tyler, tell us a little bit more about your background. How did you decide to become a brewer, and what brought you to DL, and a little bit more of your history?
Sure. Well, I was just a home brewer for years. There was an obsession and a hobby that took up way too much of my time, and I found someone that wanted to open a brewery in Idaho, and I did a little like internship like thing in on the west coast of Washington, and then a year and a half later and a bunch of hurdles, we opened the brewery up there, and I was there for maybe 8.5 years, and 3 of those years I was looking to move back to Minnesota. This was the more than ideal location. I got family all around here, and I always thought I'd end up in this area at some point in my life. I just found a way to get here earlier.
Where did you get your awesome furniture?
So this all started, I mean, we really should put some pictures up, and maybe we will around the 4th anniversary here, of what this looked like, because I think folks in DL know this space originally was a Woolworth store, and morphed into a few different things and ended up being a furniture store. And, you know, we work with the folks with Design to Sell, and, you know, they source the tables from Crumb's Creations out in Audubon. So again, it's not just about community, it's about trying to do things locally too. All the grain we buy, which is different than the grain Luke was talking about, you know, is locally sourced as much as we can get it. And then, yeah, so we've always been trying to get things as much as we can local, and that's where those are from. And there's a good thing, bad thing with those kind of tables, because now we get to maintain them all the time too. So.
I'm a huge pinball fan. Will those stick around? The machines?
Yeah, that's another good question. And pinball has become a thing here. And you know, Sunday we had 28 pinball players in some marginal weather conditions. We have Tuesday night pinball and once a month a tournament. The plans right now are to keep them here, but you know, sorry Chris, who runs the Minnesota Pinball and owns all the machines, we're staying at the 15 machines that we have now. And you know, that's another one of those things that I didn't realize how big pinball was. And it is a very popular activity, and we have a core group of people that are here very regularly. Our tournaments, we get people from St. Cloud, Grand Forks, north of Thief River Falls. You know, the plan is to stay with it, and you know, Harry Potter is coming and Pokemon. So, you know, I'm not sure which two are going, but we do have you know, he's very good at keeping the best machines possible. And then the thing that's different here is the owner of the machines is here on a regular basis making sure they're maintained. There's a lot of folks, a lot of places where you go and the pinball machines are, you know, something isn't working on them. And we've got a great selection, and all of them are well maintained.
Have you seen the movie Beer Fest?
Yep.
Is that?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
When you were talking about what this place used to be, I was remembering that right where I'm sitting was the paper section of Ben Franklin, I believe. So it looks
Could have been.
so much different.
Yeah, we get lots of folks that point out that they remember coming here with a grandparent in particular and sitting in Woolworths at the concession bar.
Yep.
So then, if you look, we can show you where the holes in the floor were, where the stools were, which some folks really get nostalgic about.
Now, you mentioned that breweries are a huge place for community and kind of a third space. But I feel like Bucks Mill takes it to a whole nother level with the support that you show to our community. Is that something that you intentionally kind of decided as a group when you started? Or is that something you just...
Yeah, it definitely was. We won't survive without good community support and providing a space. And, we won't survive without making really good beer either. So, between those two things, that's what we think is a part of the formula for success, given the competition we have in this town.
And tell us about the food piece that you're working on from the competition.
Yeah, there's two things this year we're going to add to our repertoire, I think, is we did get second place in Pitch 412 last year, and our intent was to have a kitchen up and running by now. We got kind of sidetracked by a air conditioner unit going bad and having to be replaced, which equated to about the cost of putting in a kitchen. So that got put on hold this last year, but our intent is still to add more food service here within the licensing restrictions that we have in Minnesota. We still want to keep our wholesale license so we can distribute beer, and that is another. The tap room's one thing. Our sales and distribution is an important piece of our revenue stream also, and we want to keep growing that. And then, so we're going to start adding. We will still intend to add food. Hopefully, it's going to take a while because we need to build out a kitchen. And then we're also going to start adding more music. So that's again part of that. Probably music monthly here on Saturday nights, and then some Fridays. So between adding food and music long term, we think that's going to really ensure good success.
Nice. So is there anything we can do as a community to support you?
Come have a beer. If you haven't, we do a lot of events like the painting ones where we get 50, 60, 70 people in here, and it amazes us and our great team of tap tenders how many people, you can just tell they haven't been here before. So even though we've been here 3.5 years, stop in at the brewery. It's a great place to come visit, play some games, enjoy your family, don't have to clean your house. Meet them here and come have a beer. Or, the other thing in the industry, and you've been seeing breweries close, it's not uncommon. Gen Z isn't drinking as much. We are trying to add, we do have a bunch of non-alcoholic options. Root beer is phenomenal. We have a selection of non-alcoholic seltzers here, and we're trying to add some more non-alcoholic options so that, we get people that are almost afraid when they come up and go, well, what kind of beer can I have? Because they think brewery, craft beer, it's intimidating. And, don't be intimidated. We have Buck Light. We have right now a German light beer that's fabulous for everyday beer drinkers. We're catering to everyone we can, and including now also really moving into the non-alcoholic side of things.
You guys carry gluten-free?
We have gluten-free seltzer. Our beer is lower gluten, generally speaking, but it's not gluten-free. Yep.
All right, and Tyler, do you have anything to add? Are you taking ideas for new beers?
Yeah, always looking for ideas for new beers. Yeah.
Tell us what's coming, Tyler. What are some new things?
We have our Kolsch coming back, which previously was just a Bucktoberfest thing, but popularity and it doesn't look like spring's around the corner, but it should be. And light beers, warmer weather. We're gonna try to maybe not year round, but have that around more often. We have an American wheat, which is the first round for us. That's on the light beer side too. Those are the newest two. There's always something new.
Yeah, and that's back to we've had like a rotation of 4 sours, which are very popular, but we feel like we've got to add some new sour flavors too. So we're working on maybe one that might even be a completely different color than something we've made in the past. So stay tuned.
All right. And where can we follow you to find all the information and events coming up?
Sure. We have a website, bucksmillbrewing.com, and then we are fairly active on the social media platforms of both Instagram and Facebook. So, you know, we do the best we can to keep up with our events and keep everything up to date, and those are the go-to places. We also do rent rooms. Information on that is on the website also.
All right. Well, thank you. Let's give them and Luke a big round of applause, please.